Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's NBA Sharp Betting Breakdown here on the Advantage Sports Betting Podcast. I am your host, Michael Fiddle. Today is Monday, March 10th, and we have a 14-game NBA slate to go through, but change of plans here live on the stream. As I was clicking the Go Live button, this stream is not going to Twitter right now for some reason, which is the bulk of our audience. So if you have made it over to the YouTube channel, thank you. That's obviously a big boost to getting these actions and live angles on the show because YouTube is working, but Twitter is not. So I am joined by professional poker player Drew Johnson. We are going to go through this slate, but we're actually going to make a on the fly game change. Yep. Can't get it through X. Twitter is broken. Bunch of people commenting in. That really blows. So we're not going to go through every single game on the card because it would make absolutely no sense to go through every game and then take the hour and 20 minutes that it would take to go through 14 games and then download it, then post it to Twitter, and then it's going to be 2 hours later than this, and all of this information becomes less important. So what we're going to do, because PK says Twitter is broken today. Damn you, Elon. We're going to just go through what we think is actionable and available right now. So we'll make this a quicker show. We will skip going through all the strategies. We'll almost do this like just a best bets podcast, and then we will cut it. We will go get it on posted to the audio feed. We'll see if we can get it to Twitter as soon as possible. If you are listening later, get over to the YouTube channel because YouTube is working today. All right, I'm sharing the FanDuel odds screen. This is a real bummer to start the day. I'm joined by professional poker player Drew Johnson. Drew, help me pivot on the fly right now. Are we going to talk about Lakers Nets?
A little bit. I do like the Nets. I am waiting. Are we seeing any sevens yet? We haven't seen any 7.5s yet, right? Just so now the seven's starting to pop up.
I actually just saw 7 here at FanDuel, and then it went right back to straight back to 6 without even a movement to 6.5. So there are some 7s at sharper books, but I do think it's going to come back the other direction. I do not think we're getting 7.5. So I think if you're looking Nets, your buy point is maybe you have access to one of those 7s, but you definitely would have access to 6.5 plus 6.5 minus 108 at DraftKings would be the best available line.
Yeah. And I do like the Nets tonight. I think the Lakers are going to have a lot of trouble with them with all the injuries they're having. And it might just be a game that they throw. That's kind of.
I love a Reeves assist prop in this game. I mean, if we look at what LeBron and Reeves were doing when they sent out D'Lo before they acquired Luka, it was Reeves' assist numbers. His rebounds and assist numbers were insane. So now that LeBron's out and Luka's new, I actually think, Drew, that they might go towards more let Reeves have the ball and initiate the offense because he's more within that system, has played longer, knows JJ's offense a little bit more, and it's not going to just instantly be Luka heliocentrism. And there's a chance Luka doesn't play too because he's banged up clearly too. Jackson Hayes is hurt too. So I like the Reeves angles. I agree with you on the Nets angles. Plus 6.5 is widely available. There is a plus 7 minus 113 at Bet Rivers. That or the plus 6.5 minus 108 at DraftKings. This Twitter thing not working today is really screwing me up. I had such good talking points for so many of the games.
Yep.
For example, Lakers played against the Celtics the other day. I had 2 thoughts. And I can't even go in depth into them because we need to move on to the other games. We need to get this posted. This blows. Did you see Al Horford against the Lakers the other night, Drew?
I did see Al Horford against the Lakers the other night. He was phenomenal.
It was phenomenal. However, everyone after the game goes, can you guys believe what Al Horford's doing at this age? And it's just like, guys, that one you can't use against the Lakers because of LeBron. No. Because there's an older guy on the court doing better on the other side. So let's chill out on the Horford stuff. But flip side of that, I actually think I've held so firm on LeBron is still a top 5 player in the NBA for the longest. I'm actually going to say whether that's they brought Luka in, so now he has to do less for the first time in his career. But Drew, I'm willing to concede. If I'm starting a team brand new today, if I have one playoff run that I need, if I got, one season that I want to win a championship, I am taking Jason Tatum over LeBron James moving forward. I feel like the torch has been passed between those two. I've been advocating 2 years ago. I was screaming, guys, there's zero chance the Celtics lose the finals to the Warriors if LeBron's there instead of Tatum. There's just no way. And then you go to the next.
Yeah, that's true.
And Denver wins it or whatever, and then Boston wins it. And now we've gotten to the point finally where Tatum is actually better than LeBron. And I think a lot of that is Luka being having to do less. I mean, LeBron having to do less because of Luka. But watching that game, I'm like, yeah, I would take Tatum over LeBron now. All right, let's keep scrolling through these games. I wanted to really hammer some of those points, but we ain't going to be able to do that today. The Utah Jazz are playing the Boston Celtics right now. This lines are hanging out in complete limbo, but spread and total kind of make no sense because if there's a 17.5 hanging on the board, you're kind of expecting a lot of the Jazz Celtics players to play. However, the 229 just speaks to a lower total than you would expect between these two teams. So the total should be higher. The spread should be less. So it's really hard to gauge the injury report. Is this just the wave of injury news that's going to hit the Jazz? Is this going to be the if you look at the injury report that Ian wrote up for this game, I mean, everyone's questionable. Tatum, Horford, Markkanen, Collins, Kessler, Sexton. Doubtful, Porzingis, Clarkson. Like, we don't know who's going to play, but one direction of this, either Jazz plus 17.5 or the over if players are going to play, either one of them would be amazing lines based on how it breaks. So when we get this show posted, when you do listen to it, check in with shoot around news with Jazz and Celtics, because if you could try and get ahead of that news drop and who's actually going to play, those would be fantastic lines. Either Jazz plus 17.5 with the Celtics resting or the over if a bunch of guys are actually going to play. Drew, did you want to talk about 76ers Hawks? Did you want to talk about Wizards Raptors? Where should we go next on this card?
Wizards Raptors, I think, is priced out now. At the 7, I don't like the Raptors. I kind of don't want to bet them at all against the spread moving forward. I literally have no idea what they're doing on a night-to-night basis anymore. It's kind of just, are they tanking tonight? Are they not tanking tonight? Who's playing tonight? Who's not playing tonight? So I am just staying away from them for the moment, especially with them lying at -7. I don't want anything to do with that. And I don't want anything to do with Washington. So,
nope. Yeah, revenge spot for the Raptors. But, I mean, the Wizards win that game by 1 the other night.
Yeah.
And I think that was in Toronto, correct?
Yep.
So now it's like zigzag revenge spot for Toronto, but then you look at the injury report, they're Podol out, Grady Dick out, Mogbo out. I mean, on the other side, Middleton and Smart are going to be missing, so it is going to be the full youth movement for the Wizards. But if we're moving through today's slate pretty quickly and we're looking at best bets and Drew's saying a Raptors game's priced out, you ain't going to find me talking about the Wizards too often. There are 3 games that I actually really do want to touch on, Drew.
Okay.
Orlando Magic plus 4.5. Let me find the best available number on the board.
Plus 5's popping up.
There's 5s. Okay, so there is 5. No, it's going the other way. It's coming down to 4.5, and I think it might even go further. I think this line might close as low as 4 or 3.5. So I really like the Magic. If you can grab Magic plus 5 -108 at DraftKings, absolute no brainer for me, considering the 4.5s literally everywhere on the board at -110. So definitely would grab plus 5. Bet Rivers has it -110 as well. This Magic team, I want to speak to it a little bit. Ian wrote them up in the newsletter this morning, sent out about schedule spots that the Magic have a big week with a lot of playoff races that are going to be mightily important on this 4-game swing this week. They just come off a win against the Milwaukee Bucks where they looked really good, the Magic, like really good. We were all over that spot because the general manager who's building the Magic right now is the guy who drafted Giannis on the Bucks. So why do the Magic always line up well with Milwaukee? Because they're orchestrated by the same guy. They have very similar team concepts. Houston is the team that we've called Orlando West, or we call the Magic Houston East. Whenever we're talking about those two teams, whether that be the defensive effort, whether it be the young emerging coach, whether that be the point guard that you don't realize, whether it's Suggs or Van Vliet, makes a huge fucking difference. And so we look at this spot, and Amen Thompson out.
Yeah,
Fred Van Vliet,
big piece.
Fred VanVleet, questionable, and I'm leaning towards more doubtful and out for him. I'm putting him as like 40% likely to play based on the way things have gone for him recently. So the two top playmakers, because Drew, you go, I mean, that's a big piece. It really is. There's a reason why he was like the face of the Rising Stars competition, because right around the All-Star break, we were like, wait, is he the best player on Houston? And everyone's like, hey, is it Şengün or is it Thompson? But he's better than Jalen Green now. He's better than Tari Eason. He's better than Fred VanVleet. Like, this guy's a machine. Offense, defense, transition, switchability, versatility. Like, Amen Thompson is actually fucking amazing. However,
yes, he is.
He's going to be out, and VanVleet's going to probably be out. So then you look at a little cluster injury of the playmakers, and then you're going against Orlando, where you want to run your offense potentially through the big in Şengün. I don't like that one bit for Houston. I really like the spot for Orlando. I think they're going to be playing with a large sense of urgency coming into this road trip and coming off of a win. So I really like Orlando Magic plus 4.5 or plus 5. Let's find the best money line price as well. And then I want to explain quickly, Drew, how I played this last night, because from a strategy sense, it does make a little bit of sense. Plus 164 is also available. DraftKings money line. I would play them both. Drew, let me explain to you why I played this last night. And I played at 5.5. BetMGM was doing one of their classic, we'll make the line 1 point or half a point off the market, but we'll juice it to minus 115. So MGM's laying a 5.5 minus 115. I said, all right, I will scoop that up. I'll pay the extra 5 cents a vig for that half a point. However, if you looked at the money line for it, Drew, last night at BetMGM, it was the exact same money line as every other book. Every other book laying a clean 5, even books laying a 4.5, because these money lines are priced in ranges. So the money line for a 5.5 isn't always X. It's between A and B. So when I saw the money line range, I was like, oh, this is the money line for essentially a 5. And the 4.5 was a money line for the 5. The 5.5 was a money line for in the range, that like it was at the medium number. So for that reason, I was like, the 5.5 minus 115 by far represents the best value. So even if I wanted to play a money line as like escalator, I wouldn't have done it in this spot, because you're always going to take the value of the line. If they're correlated and roughly the same, I'll take the money line boost. But if the money line is hanging at the very lowest end of the spectrum of what that point spread is worth, I would rather play it harder on just the plus 5.5. So instead of maybe splitting up a unit between 3/4 of a unit spread and a quarter of a unit money line, or however you want to go about that, 60-40, 70-30, 50-50, what I would have done in that spot is just full unit Orlando plus 5.5 minus 115. I actually played it for half a unit. Hindsight, maybe I should have played a little bit bigger. Does that make sense, Drew? Choosing money lines versus spreads and liking the Magic in the spot?
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you like, just the best number is almost always the right play, right? Unless you are certain that a team is tanking. Like, the only time I don't take that advice would be in the case of maybe like a Brooklyn Nets tonight. I do not want the money line because I know that they want to lose this game in the end. So that's the only time I would not take the best number, though. And if the money line's the best number, you should definitely be adding a piece of that to your bet.
The Raptors fan chiming in with a well-trained eye this season and wanting to cover spreads but not win games.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the theme of the Raptors.
Yes, sir.
Do they actually win by 7 or more tonight? Not worth playing. All right, I'm going to throw it to you and just say, take us anywhere on the slate and give us something you like and why, if anything's actionable.
Something I like and why. Where's my slate?
I have Dos Mas.
I don't really see much.
So much of this hangs in a lot of injury uncertainty. You want me to just keep riffing?
No, I do like one of the things we talked about at the beginning of this pod was it's the dog day, right? There's only like 3 favorites I actually kind of
This
like.
is a great point. It is, if we were doing a full fucking stream, if things were working and we were like dancing and doing some get down on it and the full works of what this podcast normally is, we'd be going, it's dog day Monday. And we'd be talking about every single situation where we want the points. And money lines and Magic was that, and not wanting Raptors -7 was that, and you kind of liking Nets was that. It is fucking dog day in the association, fellas.
Absolutely. Yeah, we like the Magic. I've been killing it with my Bulls lately. The zombie Bulls have been just pulling wins and covers out of their ass for 3 weeks now, 4 weeks since the trade deadline almost. It's wonderful to see, and I think if Hallie doesn't play, although it looks like he's priced in, I do like the Bulls again tonight, at home against Indy with a +6. Yeah, sign me up.
Comment here from John Lim. John says, can you post what your WHOP bets were like you do sometimes at the end of the show? I mean, you don't realize how funny this comment is, because this is completely on me, that at the end of the show, I just start talking or ending the show and just fucking forget. So we're actually going to say, yes, I will try and be as good as I can on this moving forward. And I'm actually going to hand off the responsibility to Ian. Ian, if you hear me starting to end the show before doing WHOP bets, just throw the graphic on the screen. I could be, thanks for coming, everyone. Listen to Pat Bev, and then bam, this pops up. And it should be, oh, shoot. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate your saving me. Shout out John from a few weeks ago, because now we're being incredibly consistent of this. So yes, I will do it at the end. John, you don't realize how funny it is that I always end the show and then go to Drew and Ian. Oh, I forgot to show the screen at the end. So yes, it's always the intention. It isn't always the execution. The one favorite that I do like on the slate is OKC -9, -8.5. BetMGM is doing their classic, we'll lay it -8.5, and we'll lay it -115. Drew, they were doing it last night for, shoot, what game is it? I refused to bet it. I refused to do it. I think it might have been the Raptors one, but you know how we always talk about 6 being the most important key number?
Yes.
Well, we don't talk about it. The data shows it, and we emphasize it.
Yes.
And you know how we always talk about how BetMGM will just move a line half a point off the consensus market and charge 115 for it so that they get increased VIG in their direction, right?
Yes.
And bets placed in their book. Yes. So last night, they were hanging the 6, while every other book was hanging 6.5 on, I think it was Raptors. However, the 6 was not -115, Drew. It was -118, because they knew how important that number was. And they knew if they were inviting people on the -115, that actually would have been a really good line. So what they had to do was move it to -118. I wish I took a screenshot of it, because it was just so funny to see and just be like, they're doing it. Here it comes. MGM doing it, but also being smarter about the 6. BetMGM, thanks for listening to the show. We like the fact that you love our key numbers for the NBA. All right, the one I did want to talk about, OKC -9 or 8.5. I do want to play them eventually. They're an absolute matchup nightmare for Denver. We saw this work last season in the playoffs. Denver is vulnerable with Jokic to the 2 big lineups, and the Hartenstein-Chet combo has been starting to be played consistently for the Thunder. So they have that kind of grouping to throw at Jokic, and then they have just insane defense around Jokic. Oh my God, I can't even speak today. Good thing we didn't do a full show. For those that don't know, I got 14 hours of tattoo work done this weekend, so my mind is a bit fried. I'm very tired. But it came out great. I'll post a picture of it later. Jokic is going to get switched on to, double, shadowed, whatever. And then you have Caruso, Dort, SGA, Jalen Williams, Cason Wallace, you name them. There's no better team at defending the gaps than the Oklahoma City Thunder. And there's no better player on offense to find the gaps than Nikola Jokic. And they don't really have great shooting besides MPJ, like Jamal Murray, streaky, whatever. So I just think this matchup is an absolute nightmare for Denver. I love OKC in these spots. Played them yesterday. Happy to go back to the well. Don't care about the back-to-back matchup, or they won yesterday, how motivated. They're going to destroy Denver, I think, again. And so the only thing that I'm waiting on is to see if a 8.5 minus 110 pops back up. We're not going to get 8s or 7.5s because Aaron Gordon is going to be out for this game. So we're not going to see. Chet Holmgren is also doubtful now. Okay, so maybe we do get. Regardless, I'm going to be on OKC. Whether or not that's Chet or it's Lou Dort sliding over. Like, they have the bodies, or Jalen triple-double Jalen Williams. And I'm not talking about J-Dub. I'm talking about Jay Lynn. They have the bodies to just completely game plan. They have one of the best coaches in the league. So I love OKC tonight. I'm not playing them at -9 yet, but that's the lone favorite on the card that I like. I also think the total should probably be higher than 238, especially if we're going to be missing Aaron Gordon and Chet Holmgren, like two defensive anchors on both sides of the ball. I would absolutely think that the number pops up a little bit and the pace starts to increase around the smaller players. Drew, can we talk about the Buns?
Yeah, let's do that. I was literally about to put a bet on them.
All right. Do you want to gain CLV and lose a bet?
Yes, I do.
Do I have
That's exactly what I want to do.
This is how I view the Phoenix Suns. It's like an infomercial.
Yeah.
Would you like to gain closing line value and think that your bet is great right before the game, and then within the first quarter be immediately disappointed that you did it again? Well, let me introduce you to the Phoenix Buns, everybody. You look at the straight numbers for this game and the way that it should be modeled out. It should be Memphis -5, and then you have to factor in Jaren Jackson Jr.'s out. So we shouldn't have been at the 5 yesterday, and that was an immediate play for me at Phoenix Suns +5. I still think it's playable. I'm going to go on record right now, the same way I did with Tatum being better than LeBron James. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I hope that I change my tune on this eventually. Right now, Tyrese Halliburton is better than Ja Morant. Like, Ja Morant is captain of most overrated right now. Sorry. I hate to say it. I love Ja. I feel like Ian might just hit the gravity clip to shut me up and remind me of what once was. But that seems to be no longer. Like, he's saying after the game against OKC, I shouldn't have even played tonight. You're looking at Jaren Jackson Jr. He's the clear all-star on that team. He's going to be in the NBA running. Like, he's clearly their best player. Ja is not the same, and I think the focal point is he doesn't have a great screener, which that I also think speaks to Ja a little bit, in that if you just need an amazing center to set high screens for you, then you're not as good as I thought you were, kind of sense. Like, you have a little bit of a limitation that wasn't previously factored in for me, which seems to be the case, whether that be injuries, whether that be the way he's shooting with his shoulder. If his shoulder is really screwed up and he keeps shooting less than 30% from 3, like, he's a detriment. He's going to be left out there like Rondo was back in the day. Like, I can't believe what's happening to Ja Morant right now. But Phoenix Suns, for that reason, no Jaren and Ja being buns right now, it's time to back the buns, because Ja Morant's biggest buns on the court recently.
What is happening? Sorry, my computer is doing some weird things right now.
Isn't that
it's been a strange morning?
Suns down to +4. Let me see I bet at +5. There is a +4.5 at FanDuel. There is the +4.5 -118 at BetMGM. There's a +4.5 at Bet365. So yeah, if you're looking at those spots, there's a 3.5 starting to pop up. Yeah, at the exchanges, ESPN Bet has the 4.5 -110 in each direction. So there's still quite a few 4.5s. The Bet Rivers has the 4.5. So yeah, I would still grab one of those.
You'd be trailing me because I just grabbed it for
free gift. Michael, why do you throw fits on Twitter and block people? I think you got the wrong guy.
I think you got the wrong guy too.
What? Yeah, I don't think that's me. Unless there's I don't remember the last time I blocked someone on Twitter. This is a crazy comment. But if you want a free gift from God, he's here in the chat. Yo, Fiddle, let's cash, says Peasy. Batlin says wrong guy. Batlin knows. What are you talking about? I'll even respond to people's DMs or through a fit. Wrong show anyways. Free gift from God. We appreciate you being here. Hope you come back tomorrow when Twitter's working. Let me know. Drop in your username into the comments. If I have blocked you, I'll look you up. I'll unblock you. Unless it's a want to wager on it. No, I don't want to wager on it, but I don't block people. Maybe I blocked you for a reason. Let us know your handle and I will go look it up. But I don't know the last time I blocked anybody. Okay, let's keep going. No reason to talk with one person in the comments in a show that we need to get posted soon. Dog day in the NBA, Drew. We're looking at Spurs as 6.5 favorite. Ugh, I don't like that, but I don't want to back the Mavericks.
No, that was one I was avoiding.
Knicks minus 2.5, still worth playing at all. I mean, the only thing to think here is
Brunson's out.
Brunson's out, but it's also second night back-to-back for the Kings where they went to overtime. So shout out to Shok in the WHOP community chat last night. Shout out this guy. He's become incredibly sharp, so good for him. He called out last night, Kings are going to overtime. Should we bet the Knicks now?
Yes.
I was wrapping up the tattoo that I spoke of earlier. I did not have eyes on the game. I saw that notification come through, and I was like, yes. So then I pull up my stuff. I go and bet the Knicks +1, and now we see it move to Knicks minus 2.5. So really, any time that you see a team go to overtime on the front end of a back-to-back set, go run and bet the other team and fade them. Kings going to a overtime game on the front end of a back-to-back against the Clippers last night, and they got the Knicks tonight. Run and bet the Knicks. We did this last week with the Lakers Knicks game, where the Knicks had the Clippers the next night, and Jalen Brunson would end up getting hurt in that overtime. Now, that's not what we wanted to see. However, whenever a team goes to overtime, you have asymmetric risk of playing heavier minutes. As everyone's talking, is Kyrie's injury a more minutes thing? And then he posts on Instagram, was it more minutes or did I get knocked off balance? Right? And then there might be more rest. You might say, oh, now they're going to rest Malik Monk, who's been a bit banged up and playing on, is he going to play the second night of a back-to-back after going to overtime the first one? No Sabonis in this game. So you get a lot of more rest spots that will pop up. You get more injury spots that will pop up. You get more cautious approaches on the injuries. You got the players playing more minutes. You got a later night for everybody. You got everyone getting home later. If there's a travel that's included in it, I don't know where they played Kings Clippers. It was in LA. So now they have to go back up. Sacramento's in North Cali. LA's in SoCal. So that is a plane ride back after an overtime game to back home to then play the next night. It's a lot for the Kings. So Knicks, can you still play them now at 2.5? I don't know. 219 in the total, though. That's dropped 2 points since we started to do the show. Is there anywhere with a better number? No. Wow. I wonder, did Monk just get ruled out or something? Because 2.5 and the drop in the total.
I wonder.
All right, well, we'll try and get this posted as soon as possible. Drew, last thing before we go. Twitter is back. Yeah, perfect. Want to wager on it? No, I got my bets on the Phoenix Suns tonight. Salt Cover says, give me the Kings. Salt, let's hope for a Knicks by 1. And we're both happy. I'll even take actually, no, Kings by 1, and then I push. So Knicks by 1. Hey. Ian, do you think this commenter named A right here is Glorilla? Hey. Great show. Josh Giddey, player props for me, although New York Knicks is tempting. Giddey has been incredible. And let me speak to the Giddey thing right now. He's playing for a contract. He's signed to an extension at the end of the year. So Giddey props should be on repeat. If you like those angles, that should be on repeat. Because he's the one that needs to stat stuff because he wants, Drew, get ready. He wants a Jalen Suggs contract, apparently.
Yeah. He wants a Scotty Barnes contract. He wants that Matt's rookie extension if he can find it.
There is no way that he should get that. But if the Bulls give him 5 years and $150 million, I would be, if Josh Giddey gets over $30 million, oh my Lord. That would be very, 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 very surprising. I'd probably have a lot to say on a day that Twitter is working for that one. Michael Jordan is here, says the Suns are like an abusive ex-girlfriend you can't stay away from. And I will be betting them tonight. Classic. Love it. That is so true. We might have to use that one. Yeah, that is really what it is. It's just a team with, or a ex-girlfriend just with a nice set of buns. And you just keep going back to it because the buns are there and they look nice. You say there's a lot of talent on those buns.
Yeah.
But then you get into the kitchen, you start cooking with it, and you're like, it's not really much there.
That's a really good analogy. I do like me some Kings tonight as well. I think they've been playing very well without Sabonis. Like, they're kind of better without him, right? Is that fair to say? Like, I feel like Jonas is a little less on the offensive end, just a little bit of a bigger body at center, a little bit more defense under the rim than Sabonis, which is saying something considering Jonas doesn't provide a lot of defense under the rim, but Sabonis is just that bad at it. And I'm sure I'm going to get hate from the Kings fans and the Sabonis fans out there, but he's not in the right role with them. And the more I see them play without him, the more I like them without him.
It's so funny. That is so. Did you hear the Ringers worst contracts pod?
Yes, I did.
Because Sabonis made it on there. So Drew,
I did see that. Yeah,
quite aligned on
this. That was a great podcast. If you guys haven't checked that one out, you should.
What's your problem with Sabonis? Well, nothing. If you want to win 43 games, I was literally cracking up when I heard that.
Yes, exactly. This team is winning more without him. It really is. Now, I know some of that is schedule related. Like, they haven't had a tough schedule here for the last month or so, but they are covering spreads. They are winning games outright. And every time I see them play and able to get down, those guards able to get downhill or find more room. And I'm just like, oh man, it's kind of nice not having Sabonis there if you're Zach LaVine right now, right?
I mean, yeah. I wonder if he'd rather Sabonis be back or DeMar DeRozan be gone. In a basketball sense, not in a personal sense. I know they're actually friends and people want to say that they're not good teammates, but I think they
looked pretty good last night, although they did end up losing that game by 1, but
more like the Sacramento Bulls because they have all of the ex-Bulls players. That is very true.
It is true.
That is very true. The claw with the money sign from Peasy. All right, that's going to do it for today. Our stream actually just went live on Twitter, Drew.
Oh, just now, eh? Hi, guys. Twitter, how's it going? Everybody awake?
For anyone who's just showing up to the live stream now, today's show kind of sucked because right at the beginning of the show, when I went live, the Twitter stream just wasn't working. So then I'm texting Drew during the 4-minute intro, like, wait, we need to pivot. The whole show that we had planned to go through the 14 games was scrapped when Twitter wasn't working. And then we just had to change this to let's move around the board really fast and just find some best bets and talk about some things that we want to talk about so that we can get this posted as soon as possible. So that's actually what we're going to do. PZ says, are you on with J Money today? Yes. If you want the full slate breakdown, join me with J Money today. Now that Twitter is working, I will make sure I post a link to Twitter. I will be with J Money like I do every Monday. I love being with Jay. And I will be with him breaking down the 14 game slate. So we will go through every game. I'll bring all my juice to that show. We will be back tomorrow breaking down a full slate. This is for you, John. This is for you. Here are the WHOP picks that were given out last night. A lot of these were given out in like the middle of the night when I finally got home. Knicks +1. Shout out Shoke for the alert on the community chat that we should be betting the Knicks as that's out to -2.5. I bet it. But that, honestly, it was my strategy implemented by somebody else, and I love it. And that's why a big reason I even do the show. Like, Twitter has made me so many opportunities in the betting space or just being in the content space has gotten me so many opportunities, Drew. I just want to speak to this really quick. The amount of times people hit me up that are aware of the way I approach this and let me know what's on the board that very much fits my strategy and I'm in the middle of doing something else, and I could get down on it, woo to whoop. Like, it's amazing. Like, whether or not that wins tonight, you sign me up for every +1 that is now at -2.5 every time. Orlando Magic +5.5 and Phoenix Suns +5. Those all half unit bets, all seem to be slightly ahead of the market. It is a 3-day win streak for me. You remember, you could, if you want access to all of these plays in real time, you could join us in the WHOP chat that is linked in my Twitter bio, in the episode description on YouTube, in the episode description in the podcast. It is $100 a month. However, if we ever have a losing month, we credit the entire group for a free month because we will not sell losing picks. And we emphasize that beating the closing line is the most important secondary metric. So if you're beating the closing line like we are doing, like all 3 bets today, then you are long-term going to be set up for success. So if you want to join us, can we get the BETSTAMP shot? Yeah, we can. What time is J Money? 1 p.m. Eastern. Drew, you ready for one stop for BETSTAMP?
Yes. We need it today. I don't have enough bets.
The best segment on the worst show. Welcome to At least we could joke about it that today was awry, to say the least. All right. Thank you to everyone in the comments for joining us today and staying with us and fighting through this. We will get back to the normal show tomorrow with actually good takes, sharp bets, and all that stuff. Actionable angles, working through every game. Here's the one shot for BETSTAMP. If I make it, we will share my odds screen, which is the BETSTAMP Pro odds screen, and we will find a long shot to ride together. Because honestly, me hitting this really rubbery ball into that really unforgiving metal rim is essentially a +400. So that's why if I hit it, we find a long shot.
Get in. Let's go.
All right. Let's pull it up. We need one. Yo, honestly, it's no longer a +400 because
I was gonna say when you said that, I'm like, no, it's not. It's like
I'm in the lab.
Yeah. You've been money for like a week and a half now, buddy.
For all the times that we hate the word lab, the one time that I will use it is I've been in the lab working on this BETSTAMP shot, everybody. All right, we are fully off the rails today.
Absolutely.
We have the comment for, do we play Giddy triple-double? Let's immediately look at that. Triple-double Giddy is only +600? No, we're not playing that. That's ruthless. In fact, like even just quickly seeing all the Giddy props here, these might be priced out. 18.5 points, 7.5 assists, 26.5 PA, 16.5 RA. Like, these are crazy prices to see.
Yes,
I mean,
PRA at 35.5. Wow.
I mean, we have to take into account it is Indiana, so that's part of the matchup is part of the reason too, because this is going to be a crazy pace up game. So let's check back on Giddy props next Bulls game, because
these are also priced a little high because Vooch is back finally, right? Like, we've seen his stats tick up a smidge over the last like probably one or two rebounds per game since Vooch has been out, and maybe a couple of extra points a game. And now that Vooch is back, we're going to see whether or not, well, at least I shouldn't say Vooch is back as he's questionable, but his props were all priced for the first time in like 2 weeks. So more inclined to say that he's in. And if he is, I think Giddy loses out on some of those stats.
I mean, the 40-1 Tyrese Halliburton triple-double speaks to me, considering how nice I've been to Tyrese recently. Does he repay me and hit me a 40-1?
I don't mind it at all.
In the matchup against Chicago,
long shot.
But he is coming back off a groin injury, so asking him to go in the paint and get rebounds where there's going to be extra contact and play enough minutes. Yeah, no thanks. Ugh. But I do like it. I will always be willing to play an Alex Sarr double-double, especially with Pirtle out for the and Smart and Middleton out for the Wizards, Pirtle out for the Raptors. If Sarr gets down low, Like, I think Sarr's really good. Like,
I do too.
Like, not really good right now. Let's make that really clear. Sarr has like a Porzingis type potential where he could really unlock an offense if he's a rim protector and 3-point shooter. And that's exactly what he is. And so he can really fill that role. So I do like the Sarr angles, especially considering how thin the Wizards are right now. Anything that you see, Drew, that is popping up?
Nothing that's long enough. Like nothing that fits the criteria, basically.
Right. I
There's
agree.
just nothing. What's this?
20-1 Washington, Toronto overtime in the game that no one hopes goes to overtime.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the worst idea.
Zigzag
It's also not the
repeat
best
matchup,
idea.
1-point game last time.
Yeah, the problem is Middleton isn't playing, and Washington's just such a better team when they have their vets in. Specifically that vet. You know, championship winning clutch shooter, Chris Middleton, great defense, even though he's a little like a half a step slower, but at least you're gonna get defense with him rather than when you've got Kuzma and Poole out there. Like, I'm not saying Kuzma is necessarily a bad defender on the Bucks now, but on the Wizards, he just did not give a shit, and very clearly was not playing to his potential on that team all season until he was traded to the Bucks, and then he kind of took it up a notch.
Taylor says, honestly, could only look giddy unders at those numbers. Fucking phenomenal point by Taylor. Drew's the expert at realizing when things are priced out, so that's a really good look. That things that we like talking about. When something consistently taking this kind of steam, go the other way. I went ahead and pinned the 4 options that we think were worth discussing. 3 options that were worth discussing. Sorry, I pinned too many things.
I would, the one I actually like the overtime in Indy Chicago more than I like it in Washington.
Zombie
Toronto.
Bulls face another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I can see it.
20-1.
20-1 as well. The spread's also a little closer in that game, right? It's like +6 and Toronto's -7, right?
I was that literally exactly what I'm doing, Drew, is going to look that up.
Yeah, this one to me says like,
yeah,
I'm much more inclined to play this one.
Do it.
All right,
and it's at FanDuel where people can actually get
everybody can get on it. Yep,
you know, more than $5 like a Bet Rivers 40-1.
$5. Try like $2 at Bet Rivers. It's fucking crazy. Drives me
honestly
nuts.
I do like Rivers for the mains. They've been nice. They've been slow to get me, is what I'll say to that one. I'm not saying nice to me. Slow to come cut me off. But the props are just ridiculous there, to the point where like I don't even want to play many of them because I don't want to even set off the alert, the detectors. Just stick it with my mains over there. Specialty props at Rivers, skip them. It's not worth the EV to risk being able to get your stakes down. All right, that's gonna do it for today's show. Thank you to Ian in the back. Thank you to Drew. Thank you to everybody that was in the comments. We got Jack commenting a Bane triple-double. It's good that I didn't give it out, so now that you guys can bet the Bane triple-double and it actually cashes this time. All right. We will be back tomorrow, and we will be back on the regular show, breaking down every single game, side and total, weaving in props, going over all the market moves, breaking down the strategy angles. Hopefully, I will start the show with it's been a 4-day win streak because we're on a 3-day win streak with 3+ CLV bets on today's card. You have one more thing to add, Drew?
Nope. I was just giving you a thumbs up on that one.
Oh, I thought I saw one finger. All right.
No,
some words from Patrick Beverly as he says, y'all subscribe to my podcast while you're asking all these questions. Listen to your parents.
Y'all subscribe to my podcast while y'all asking all these questions.
Don't forget to subscribe to the pod. And if you're a kid, listen to your parents. Listen to your parents.
Listen to your parents.
Subscribe to the pod.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod, man.
Good, those are good.